if you could go back in time and change what happened, wouldn't you?
Water breaks and children are born. There needs to be a change in America. The government has stolen from the Native people. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're forgetting that it's we the people, not we the government. And it's our right to stand up and say, we're not having it anymore. We stood together in many wars, fighting for those freedoms that people take for granted. Our blood is represented on them blood stripes in that flag. We the people, that's what the Constitution says, and that's the way it should be. America can be the country that the Founding Fathers dreamed of.
This was a story that needed to be told.
Jamie sent me a couple of links and articles about the situation, or I wouldn't have known about it. I was appalled. Here's the original Americans being treated badly by our government again. Well, these folks are out there in the middle of nowhere, alone, fighting a big oil company and a government. Jamie said she wanted to go and take some supplies, donations. She asked if I'd like to go and maybe film a documentary. I said, hell yeah, let's go. So we went.
We're on our way up to stand with the Sioux Indians in North Dakota. I heard about some things happening, but the news media has not been reporting on it. So we want to find out the truth. I can feel the gravity of the situation, but I'm glad to stand with them. I was hearing about the protest, and I didn't believe what I was hearing.
A lot of folks weren't getting any information, had no clue what was going on.
I wanted to go. I wanted to meet those people. I wanted to hear what they had to say.
I thought we were going to go out and get a huge political story, but really it was more than that. What we brought back it was bigger than politics. It's not political. It's personal. They're making a stand. They're not there to try to impress anybody.
It's firmly held beliefs.
This is from their heart. For the Sioux, for Native Americans in general, in the past, even up to the U.S. government hasn't fared them so well. History's full of the government bullying right over them.
This battle is hundreds of years old, and it's still ongoing.
You want to go through Tahlequah to Oklahoma.
I did. My family is Cherokee, and it's always been a very saddening, issue for me to think about having to walk all the way out to Oklahoma, and so I thought it'd be great if we travel and tell it.
Tell me what's so important about here?
Why am I here?
What's so important about it? What's so important about Cherokee?
They're my people.
And
They were forced from their home. We just drove the 600 miles from where the trail began. ends in my hometown of Grove Oak. Out here to Oklahoma. We're on our way up to stand with the Sioux Indians in North Dakota. And I wanted to make a stop here and see what the plan is.
Necessary to go to Telegraph first.
Yeah.
And I'd never been to the Cherokee Nation. And so, I really wanted to go. And, I'm glad we went. I want to go back. And drove around Telegraph for a little while and just said,
Check it out.
let's go on.
Getting overwhelmed.
What overwhelmed you?
I don't know yet.
So we did the drive out there.
Can't describe it.
Protesters of the Dakota Access Pipeline were arrested for charges including criminal trespass, resisting arrest, engaging in a riot. Protesters included journalists from the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe say that the pipeline is a danger to their water supply and their rainfall. According to reports, the officers used excessive force against the nonviolent protesters. The Morton County Sheriff's Office has painted the demonstrations as illegal. There have been over 269 arrests connected to the protest. Demonstrators insist that their protest is peaceful. Private security guards working for the pipeline may face criminal charges. Security guards set guard dogs on protest. State prosecutors are currently reviewing after hours of struggle between protesters and police. Another 141 protesters were arrested. The Standing Rock tribe says that the land actually belongs to them under a treaty dating back to the 19th century. No one is sure what the future holds for the protesters.
They told us when we came in, don't take any pictures, don't take any videos. They were not allowing any cameras or down into the camp.
They allowed us to go in. And I felt at home. I just jumped in and I was able to speak to those elders. I think it's better of a story that it's the people that are actually involved. They don't get to tell their story. There may be politicians or whomever that try to speak for them, but that individual voice is so important and often overlooked.
Hey, I'm here with Brave Bull. She gave us permission to complete this documentary. Thank you for allowing us to be here. And
thank you guys for coming. I know you guys came a long way. It's always great when you show up in God's country. But this is my land. It belongs to me and my sisters and brothers. I've been here for 3 days. I didn't realize it was this big and this crazy. But I run the cook shed and everybody is well fed. Good?
Awesome.
great.
All right.
My name is Robert Eater. I'm Dakota Lakota, part of the Honkawa tribe. We're here. I live here on Standing Rock. I'm originally from Fort Peck, Montana, Sioux tribe. They're trying to build a pipeline under the water. Water and oil, it doesn't mix. They're trying to say that the pipeline won't break. We know that in America, pipelines have failed and it will fail. It's not how, it's when. We started this camp to protect this water. It runs all the way to St. Louis from here and then beyond to the Mississippi River. When this pipeline breaks, millions of people are going to be affected, not just Native people, good American citizens. Amongst our people, we call it Mini-Wichoni, water of life. Water is life. Human life can't sustain itself without it. And these corporate entities here now in America, they want to build pipelines over water, underwater. It's not a good mix. You can't drink oil with water. We've been able to endure all of this poverty, everything that we've had to endure through faith.
I'm here from the Rosebud Sioux tribe. Kihani Washte is what I would normally say, welcome, good morning. In teaching environmental science, about freaked out about this whole oil, and it's coming. I know it's coming down the stream, it's coming down the river. They're gonna bring it. Most people don't know this. It takes 15 barrels, big barrels of water to extract one single barrel of oil, crude oil. So they mix that water with solvents, which is chemicals. We know on the element chart, and we know from that element chart and basic chemistry that if you start mixing certain elements and chemicals together, they start causing carcinogenic pathways to human systems. Now, those solvents that are mixed with the 15 barrels of clean water to extract that 1 barrel of their crud, or crude, is mixed with the solvents, and they have gone to Congress and gotten a law passed that says they do not, the oil companies, do not have to show us the ingredient list of any of the chemicals they're putting in that water to extract, therefore making them exempt from the Clean Water Act. Now that should never have been allowed. Most people don't know about that. If Americans knew about that, that's something where we need to call our congressmen, we need to call our legislators, and we need to start saying, hey, this is absolutely unacceptable.
They're about to find out.
And we called everybody here. All the tribes are uniting because it involves them. There are many water issues through tribes throughout the country.
We used to live on a place called Clome Island up in Lyman County over by Winter, South Dakota, between Winter, South Dakota on the river. And we actually were relocated and forced off our land. Islands of land that was really green and good cattle land and so forth because we were cattle raisers. I'm talking late 1800s, turn of the century.
Yeah.
And they dammed above the Oahe, all these dams, okay? It affected all of us downstream, of course. And it made it so that our whole island was flooded. And so we had to move everything, and they put us on the reservation in Rosebud.
We've got the same sort of issues with TVA over in Tennessee, how they dammed it up. And I know they flooded several communities. Probably, I mean, I know damaged some of our Cherokee burial grounds and stuff out there. It's already happened. Man. It's already happened. I mean, we're all fighting the same fight.
Yes.
Just in different places.
Yes, and that's why everybody's here. This is so much larger. This is about the Army Corps of Engineers coming in on lands in which they do not have our permission to be here. It doesn't mean we won't ever give it to you. But you have to ask. If you want respect, you have to afford the same respect you're demanding to everybody else. And that's something everyone should have learned in kindergarten.
My name's Lynette Houses. I'm San Carlos Chiricahua Apache. I'm also Diné and Taos Pueblo. You see this happening all across the country where waterways are being threatened and sacred sites are being threatened as well. And in that sense, our culture is being taken away. I came here representing my tribes to stand in solidarity with our Lakota, Dakota, Sioux tribes for the water and the land and for our culture and our future generations. Because we're all connected to the waterways. We're fighting to protect our sacred sites and the waterways. This is happening everywhere, and it's important for all of us to stand together. And that's why I'm here, because this pipeline affects everyone, and we're all down water. So I'm glad I'm seeing all this solidarity out here. It's very beautiful. We brought a couple donations, and it was really glad to see the community, different communities coming together and hearing everybody's stories about what's going on, especially connecting in that way, hearing about everybody's stories about what's going on in their own community and their own fights, and connecting and networking and seeing how important it is to be here, to just stand here and connect in these ways as well.
Stand with our brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I just want to say, this is Lakota land. This is their land. It's been their land forever. You're here as a guest of this land in this Lakota nation. Respect it when you're here. Learn something from it. Take it back with you.
Be aware, this is not a race thing. I'm not here because I'm an Indian and all my Indian friends are up on the front line and I want to be with them. No, I've been told since the day that I was born that we have never given up any rights over this river, and that still today in my house in Rosebud, South Dakota, this is the water I drink. And everybody down the pipeline, you're drinking it too. So if you're not here, you're being ignorant. Educate yourself, because if you're going to continue to irrigate your crops with our water, you're going to be giving that in the corn to the Wheaties of anybody in America, and that causes cancer. So don't be, don't be ignorant. It's not even stupidity, it's ignorance. When you fail to educate yourself because something that someone told you is uncomfortable for you to think about, that's ignorant. And when ignorance that leads eventually to the loss in human life, we're not pawns in the Midwest. You don't look at us and say, oh, there's only 400,000 of you in the entire strip corn belt. So we'll take you out and we'll take your water system, and then we live in New York and it's okay because there's no fracking allowed in our county. These people making these decisions don't live here. They don't drink this water, nor will they ever.
We're not going to be pawns in their game of chess.
Never. They think that this is a joke. They think these natives are bluffing. This is an act of war. When you put yourself in front of a cannon, basically, it's a cannon waiting to blow up. You can't just keep suppressing people and pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. Look around. We don't have nice houses. We don't have anything left. All we have left is our land, our spirituality, our children, our water.
We got each other.
And we have each other. And I believe that's why this is happening. Because spiritually, we're all learning that spirituality and goodness and humankind is way beyond color, and it's time to end it. And that's why I think like the Hawaiians are here, and the Islanders are coming, and there's all these people coming because, you know what? We're all tired of the Army Corps of Engineers moving on to our land without permission, without any heads up. You know what? I'm tired of being what's for dinner. You need to invite me to your table.
The U.S. government has done nothing except take advantage of them, bully them around, murder, anytime they've had any dealings with the Native Americans. More than 500 treaties have been made between the U.S. and Native Americans. Every single one of them broken or changed at the convenience of the U.S. government. Many were made illegally by someone who the government appointed as a representative of the Native American people, not them. 500 treaties. So yes, it's about protecting the water, but even more so, it's about making a stand and not allowing yourself to be bullied, used and abused over and over. You probably heard people say, the pipeline isn't even on their land. Well, that depends on who you ask. You see, the land was indeed given to the Sioux, but then when gold was discovered in the Black Hills, they reneged and they took back the part that had gold. The part they wanted, they took back. Their reservation's been shrinking since it was established. The Sioux Indians did not agree to sell the land. They did not agree to it being taken back. It was just decided it was not theirs anymore. We learned that just the Rosebud Sioux Reservation, and we suspect many, many more, only half of the population is being counted. Only half of the people are being counted in the U.S. Census. We're missing out on representation in our government. We're missing out on benefits. So 500 treaties were broken germ warfare used against them, blankets given to them with smallpox. They've stolen their land, committed genocide, re-educated the young. It was quoted that they were going to kill the culture, not the man. There are an estimated 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust, and that's terrible. There have been almost 76 million Native Americans killed by our government. You can make a difference. The pen is mightier than the sword. Demand a change. Demand to begin immediately. We the people.
No, we forgave America for the senseless slaughter. That chapter in America's rough history, the advent of man, yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't like what happened, but bottom line, I don't have the capacity to hate anybody for it. We stood together after we forgave America, and we fought in wars. Our blood is represented on blood stripes in that flag as American citizens. We stood together on many battles throughout the world, proving that America can be the country that the founding fathers dreamed of. There is no utopia. Man's been looking for that for centuries, but this is the best. This is as good as it gets in America. People standing together, the United States of America, we the people. That's what the Constitution says, and that's the way it should be. We put aside our differences, we put aside our hate. Yes, there's no perfect society. I wish there was. We have our social problems and we have our political corruption. But bottom line, all in all, as American citizens, we have stood together and proved to the rest of the world that we can live together in peace, we can live together in love and unity if we put aside this violent nature that man has to kill one another. We're here praying. We're not here trying to mount a major native uprising in America. If there's any uprising, it's a peace uprising, a message of peace and a message of love, not hate. We stood together in many wars, fighting for those freedoms that people take for granted. And sometimes our own politicians, they're forgetting that it's we the people, not we the government. And it's our right to stand up and say, we're not having it anymore. There needs to be a change in America. The government has stolen massive amounts of money from the Native people, yet we forgive again. Their own American jurisprudence, if we could prove it in a court of law, proves they violated every treaty. They breached that trust, and they acted in bad faith. And yet we forgive. How much longer is that justice going to elude us Native Americans? How much longer? I think we've proven that we're good citizens. And Americans need to be aware of that. We're not here trying to surmount a uprising. We want the people in America to unite in peace and love and respect for one another and help one another. It's a shame in this country when good veterans die homeless. My brother veterans are dying homeless in the streets. What does that say of American people? That's a gratitude we give men? That's the thanks they get for the sacrifice they made for the freedoms that we all take for granted. It's a shame. I'm tired of it. We have these problems. And Americans could help one another. We the people.
Bye.